Today I will explain the poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree, composed by William Butler Yeats. Welcome to our channel Quick Poetry Knowledge. This is your teacher Mehjabin. The text of the poem goes like this. I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. And 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loved glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. Their midnights all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evenings full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core. I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree. This is the first line of the poem. The poet means to say that now is the time for him to wake up or to stand up. He will relocate from his city and go to live in an uninhabited island which is near the coast of Ireland. The name of that island is Innisfree. So arise here, arise means to stand up. So we can understand that the poet is not at all comfortable with his current life in the city. He is totally fed up of his life there, and he is looking for peace and solitude. And a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. The poet plans to make a small hut or a cabin in the island of Innisfree. He wants to live alone in that cabin. He will use wooden sticks and mud to build this home. So cabin and clay, these are examples of alliteration. Now what is alliteration? Alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee. Once he has relocated to the Lake Isle of Innisfree, he will grow his own food. For instance, he will plant 9 rows of beans, and these will be his primary source of diet. He will also rear bees in the island, and these bees will live in their hives. The poet will also be able to consume the honey. So, hive and honey, these are examples of alliteration. And live alone in the bee-loved glade. The poet wants to live all alone in the island of Innisfree. He is not looking for any other human company there. He will make his cabin in a glade, which is a large open area in the middle of the forest. He will enjoy the sounds of the bees humming noisily as they flutter in the breeze. That sound will be a kind of music to him, a sort of balm or tonic that would ease away all his worries or stress. So the poet seems to be very upbeat, positive and excited about living a solitary life in the island. He is eager to move away from the city and live in the countryside area. In the second stanza, the poet begins by saying that and I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow. The poet feels that he will get the chance to experience a peaceful life in the Isle of Innisfree. Isle, it's a short form of island. He also expresses the view that peace and tranquility does not come into a person's life very easily. It does come, but its arrival is rather slow. This line gives us a peek into the poet's state of mind. He seems to be upset by his current life in the city of London. From his childhood vacations in County Sligo in Ireland, where the Lake Isle of Innisfree is located, the poet knows how calm and soothing the landscape there is, and now he misses it very much. Dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. The poet says that in the Isle of Innisfree, life can be very peaceful. The very beginning of the day can be soothing and tranquil. The poet personifies morning here. So morning is personified here. That is, morning is given a human shape here, and this is called personification. So he gives morning a human shape as a woman wearing a veil. Morning seems to be wearing a veil as it is covered with mist. In the evenings, the cricket sings. The poet gets a sense of peace right from the morning till the time of evening, when the brown-colored insects called crickets fly about, singing noisily. The poet loves these sounds. They give him a soothing sensation. Their midnights all a glimmer and noon a purple glow. The poet remembers the island of Innisfree because he had visited it on earlier occasions. It's a quiet, peaceful place with the light of the moon and the stars creating a special kind of sparkle at midnight. The noontime here probably refers to the afternoon sun, which seems to cast a purple glow in the sky, especially at the time of sunset. So you can again see glimmer and glow. These are examples of alliteration. And evenings full of the linnet's wings. Now the poet says that the island is home to the small songbird called linnet. In the evenings, these birds return to their nest. Large flocks of these birds flutter their wings in the sky as they fly back. It is a wonderful sight. The poet longs to see these birds again. He wants to enjoy more such evenings in the Lake Isle of Innisfree. Now he says in the third stanza that this is the beginning of the third stanza. I will arise and go now for always, night and day. The poet begins the last stanza by repeating that he will wake up and leave the city in which he is currently residing. He also mentions the reason behind his sudden decision to relocate to the countryside area of Innisfree. There is something that happens with him each day and each night. I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. Now what happens to the poet is that he hears the lake waters of Innisfree making soft, soothing, gurgling sounds as they move rhythmically and touch the shore. The poet is so fascinated by the sound of the lake waters that he hears them continuously. He hears them even when he is far away from the island. So the words lake, lapping, low, these are again examples of alliteration. Lake, lapping, low, these are examples of alliteration. And then sounds and shore, these are more examples of alliteration. Some word meanings you need to note here. One is lapping and the other is shore. Lapping means splashing, washing against, gurgling. And shore can mean coast, it can mean bank, margin, lakeside, waterside. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavements grey, the poet hears the splashing sounds of the lake waters touching the banks of the lake while he is far away from the island of Innisfree. He can hear these sounds even while he is out for a walk on the ash-colored sidewalk or footpath in the city. He can hear these sounds even while he is in the middle of the road. The poet describes the pavements as grey-colored. The color grey represents dullness or lack of charm. In other words, the poet seems to be conveying the idea that life in the city is rather dull or boring to him. I hear it in the deep heart score. Now this is the last line of the poem. Yeats wraps up the poem by saying that his longing for the Lake Isle of Innisfree is so intense that he continues to hear the soft gurgling sounds of the waters touching the shores from the innermost realms of his heart. The natural wonders of this exquisite countryside area has left a permanent mark on his soul, and as a result, day after day, he hears the soft echo of the waters in his heart. It is this deep, non-stop longing for this beautiful island that has prompted him to make the decision to leave all his materialistic attachments in the city of London and make a move to the rural area of County Sligo in Ireland, where the Lake Isle of Innisfree is located. So core, deep heart's core. Core means the innermost regions. The innermost regions of the heart. Here the poet means he's talking about his own heart, his own emotions. So a critical analysis, the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, A, B. In such a kind of rhyme scheme, for every 4 lines, the first and the third lines, they rhyme with each other. Similarly, the second line rhymes with the fourth line. So this kind of rhyming pattern in any kind of poem is called ABAB rhyming pattern or rhyme scheme. And this poem is a lyric, and it has repetitions like I will arise and go now. And this repetition, it is repetition in the sense that the poem starts with these few words, I will arise and go now, and then in the last stanza also the first line starts like that, I will arise and go now. So this repetition is also an interesting poetic technique that poets generally use while composing poetry. So with that we come to the end. Thanks a lot for watching.